What's going on, YouTube land? It's Matt, the lawn care little guy, and it's Sunday Live. So welcome to those of you who are tuning in. And this week, the sponsor is my shaker cup full of water. I am not drinking Coke Zero tonight. They declined the invitation that I didn't send to sponsor my program. So I'm not drinking Coke Zero tonight. Not true. I'm trying to cycle off caffeine. So Coke Zero is not on the menu this evening. We'll see what happens next week. And if I were telling honest goodness truth, I've had 2 Coke Zeros today already. So I don't know how serious I am about this, but I definitely need to get off caffeine. So I'm trying to limit that. So this week I just got my shaker cup full of water, and that's going to have to do. So got 2 people watching. Check the comments, see who we got here. I'm sure we're going to have the usual suspects this week. And yeah, there's Rob. Good to see you, Rob. I hope you had a good time over at Ben's last night, man. I'm sorry I missed it, but man, I don't know how well Saturdays are going to work for me now, because I know last week I was like, maybe I'll make it, but I forgot that we're kind of regularly attending church now on Saturday evenings. So daytime, I can't go because it's Sabbath. Evening time, I'm probably not going to be able to go because church. So what's going on, Joffrey? It's good to have you back. We missed you last week, bud. So hey, I saw one of your posts that you're kind of doing some of your last cleanups for this year before you get the equipment all stored up. Man, I cannot believe that you're still out there doing stuff, man. It's December. So snow comes and snow goes, right? And then we're back to work again. AMB, what's going on? It's good to have you. Good to have you back, man. Thank you for being faithful watchers. Drew, how's it going, my friend? Welcome back. Welcome back. So we'll wait a couple minutes still, and we'll see who else jumps in, and we'll just kind of get with it. Hey, this week I am going to be talking about just a couple of things. I got a funny little story about my son. You guys have to remind me. It's, my stories are just kind of like little blurps, little like just a couple minutes out of my life in the day. But he said something that was just hilarious the other day, and or today, and so I just want to share that with you guys to, I don't know, share my boy with you. And then we're going to be talking about cold weather gear just a little bit. I got some stuff in the mail from Amazon. I order almost everything off Amazon, so we're going to be talking about that. Oh, it's your own yard? Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go check out that video, Joffrey. Hey, you guys need to go check out Joffrey's channel too. So if he's putting up some more videos, then we need to help him out and go take a look at him. He usually does make pretty good videos. So I highly suggest you go check him out. I will watch it before I go to bed, Joffrey, and you will get one more viewer, one more like, one more thumbs up. I hope you're staying warm up there, by the way. I hope everybody is staying warm. Oklahoma, we had a bit of a cold stretch last week or so. We had some snow dump, and which is unusual for us. We got, I don't know, some places got, I heard, up to like 5 inches, which is a bunch for us. And I think Oklahoma City usually gets kind of like a medium. So, but we had an accumulation that lasted for a few days, which is a big deal for us. And but not enough to go starting a lawn or a snow business. So before you guys ask, nope, I am not shoveling snow. And most of us don't around here, unless you're a big lawn care company, but I'm not a big lawn care company. I am the lawn care little guy. So that's that. Let's see here. What else do I got? I got another little side, cornhole. We talked a lot about cornhole last week, and watch this. Did you see that? I know, it probably didn't. And I don't know how much you guys care about cornhole, but I got me some competition style cornhole. So if old Slurpee shows up this evening, maybe I'll break out the cornhole bags and talk about that. So yeah, guys, so we got 4 watchers, and it looks like it's the 4 people that are commenting. So we'll just get with it. And after I kind of give you guys an update on what's going on, then I'll put an invitation out there and we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So, you know what? I'll start off with my boy with his little story he told, because as always, we had family dinner tonight, and it was at my house because my mom was remodeling her kitchen. But I should say that my brother-in-law is remodeling my mom's kitchen. Andrew, what's going on, my friend? Yeah, man, we'll have guests. Are you talking about guests like? No, Ranger is not with the lawn care little guy. Ranger usually stays with Ben and hangs out over there. And I've been able to drop by a couple times and hang out with Ranger for about an hour or two or so. But I'm missing him this trip. But he comes out pretty frequently. He really does. He comes out pretty frequently. So, and I catch him every now and then. Maybe I can invite him over. Maybe see what happens. But Ben's kind of like the community. The community house where everybody gathers. So he just had a barbecue, and I missed that because of Sabbath. But my boy, we were having dinner, and most everybody kind of left, but we got my friend Adam that comes to family dinner. He's like a son to me. I'm not quite old enough to be his dad, but I'm really close. So he kind of feels like a son to me, and he comes over, and my boy was just like chippy chapping. Just you never know what's going to come out of my boy's mouth. And he started talking about how his cousin Paige is bossier than my daughter, and he goes, yeah. He's like, Paige is bossier than Haley, and sometimes she's kind of mean to me. And he's like, it's because I'm annoying. And he goes, just can't help it. I just can't help it. I said, you know what, buddy, man? I said, I understand, man. I understand. Sometimes I can't help it either. And I got to bring my boy on sometime and just let him talk to you guys, because man, the craziest stuff comes out of that boy's mouth, and sometimes you just gotta laugh. Now, if we're in a discipline situation, it's not so funny. Then we're serious. But most of the time, yeah, he just says some crazy stuff. So maybe if you guys want to come on and, when I put the link up, you want to come on and share a story about one of your kids, something crazy they said, or just a nice memory. I'd love for you to come on and share that. Share it with everyone, and we'd love to have a little giggle over that. I'm gonna check the comment here. It's been nice here. Actually, going to be really cold on Christmas, though. You know what? Here you go. I'm gonna put it up. You've had more snow than us. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that is unusual. Usually you guys would get quite a bit more snow. Only half an inch. I thought you guys had more snow, like a really early snow, but I think that must have been the half inch that I was talking about. But yeah, man, we've had unusual snow this year. But it was nice because the kids got to go out and do their thing, make a snowman. It was literally the first time in my kids' life where there was enough snow that they could actually make a snowman if they wanted. And it was that perfect snow too. It wasn't like that dry stuff, that powdery stuff that just doesn't stick. It was perfect. And they made two wonderful snowmen. And it was funny because I had to instruct them because they were making like these tiny little snowballs, right? And they're going to make this tiny little snowman. I was like, no, you got to roll it. You got to roll it. There we go. And it'll get bigger and bigger. And my boy, he started rolling. He goes, whoa! My kids have been fun. This week, my kids have been fun. So they made a snowman. They put a scarf around it, and but the half inch is earlier this week. Okay, there we go. And they said they want to get carrots, so we didn't have like a big old long carrot. We just had like those little baby carrots. So we had kind of a funky little snowman going on. But it was fun. I was glad they got to do it. And then Millie, the dog, the beagle, we were kind of curious to see how she was going to be with the snow, because when she was a puppy, she didn't want to go out in the rain or nothing like that. And eventually she kind of got used to it, but she didn't like it. She loved the snow. She was just like, and it was just crazy. And then we'd lose sight of her, and then all of a sudden she'll, so she had a ton of fun, and she was digging in the snow. And so we were glad that Millie, the beagle, had a good time in the snow. So it's been pretty good that way. And so yeah, that's what's going on with that. And we had an interesting weekend. we had a house guest this weekend, and it was a little bit stressful, but it was also a lot of fun because our church, there's a home church. They got a home church in Texas, and a lot of those folks would participate in a lot of the activities. I've talked about the feast with you guys, and it's not uncommon for people to come when they hear that some church is putting on a feast, and they'll come and be part of it. Well, this home church would participate with our church. A lot of the people would come and participate with our church for these feasts. So they kind of know each other. Well, we had a wedding in our church, and we got a message from the bride saying, hey, we got some people coming in town, and we wanted to know if you would just kind of put them up so they don't have to get a hotel. And that's what they were doing for everybody that was coming in from out of town, and seeing if they could place people in homes. And everybody got placed. Nobody had to pay for a hotel. And we had our friend from Texas, and it was her husband couldn't make it, but her and her two kids, which were, and they're smaller kids, like around my son's age 6, and there's one that's like around like 3 or so. So she was much smaller. Let's see here, checking the comments. Guth is talking about the snow. They usually get about 25 inches of winter, which for us is like insane. So I don't know what Oklahoma would do. We wouldn't open. Everything would be closed because we don't know how to deal with snow around here. We're just like, oh, let's just like close everything down for a day or two and wait for it to melt away. In a couple of days, it's gone. So that's how we deal with snow around here. So we had the house guests, and the interesting thing about them was they're from where were they? Bulgaria. They've been in the States for 5 years, and we already met them before at the different feasts, but we never had like real focused time with them to really get to know them. But she and her kids stayed with us from Thursday night all the way until today, and because Sabbath, because when the sun goes down on Friday, because the wedding was on Thursday. And then Friday, they wanted to stay for church and Sabbath and all that. So anyways, but they left today, and they're from Bulgaria. And she was telling just the most interesting stories because Bulgaria is communist. So she was telling these stories about what life was like living under communism. And, for us, for the average American, that's hard for us to comprehend, like what communism would actually look like. And some of the things she was talking about was just crazy. And I'd love to get into a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't want to bore you guys with that. Andrew, near Albany got 36 inches. Yeah. The further north, the more snow, right? Well, usually, or at least maybe colder. But man, sometimes I wish it got snow because that way we could have a snow business. But yeah, no such climate here. Yeah. And so she was talking about communism, and you guys, I mean, my channel's like faith, family, and lawn care. So it was interesting. Naturally, like religion came up, and she grew up Seventh-day Advent, but apparently the country of Bulgaria has their government. They have a government religion, and it's Greek Orthodox. And I don't know anything about Greek Orthodox, but it's interesting because the government would control things, and you couldn't worship, and there was no freedom of religion. So if you were going to worship in a different way, it had to be in secret. So her being Seventh-day Advent, it was common for her and her church would have to meet secretly or observe Sabbath secretly, all kinds of things secretly. And then what would happen was the way I understood it is the scriptures that they had that were coming into the country somehow or another, the government was actually rewriting the scriptures so that they wouldn't have the proper scriptures to worship in the way they were. But anyways, the thing on that was that the government was actually trying to influence a lot of that. And I was like, man, that is just what a blessing we have, to live in a country that we can worship in any way that we want, and we don't have to go underground. And that was communism for her. And she talked about how she had a lawyer friend and another friend. I can't remember what industry they were in, but it was like a laborer's type. It was a low paying type of job. And there was only $200 difference a month between the lawyer and like the laborer. in Bulgaria. So everything, and it was interesting, the words that she used was she called everybody as equally poor. It wasn't like just like there was like wage equity. It was just everybody is equally poor, unless the government had favor on you, and you were outspoken in support of the government. Then they would lift you up, and they would give you a level of wealth that was uncommon. So that was really, really interesting. Gosh, I could probably go on just remembering things, but the only reason why I talk about that was because I just really enjoyed that visit and getting that perspective, because I'd never met or spoken with anybody that actually lived under communism. And I was thinking about lawn care, because I have two jobs. I work on base and I have lawn care, and both of them are good livings, honestly, for the amount of time that I invest in them. They're great livings, and I'm just so grateful because, we have that ability and we have those choices to pretty much do what we want. At least right now we do. Not to get all political, but there's a struggle in our country to continue to be able to work and make a living and worship the way we want to worship, and without the government controlling every part of it. And here there's still something to said. I still believe that if you work hard and you commit yourself to doing good, in the community, in your business, or whatever it is that you choose to do, that there's still opportunity for you, and there's really no limit. So, and I found that no more evident than, at least with my experience, in my lawn care business. And that's why I'm an advocate for anybody that's having, particularly somebody's having employment issues. You know what? Just don't work for anybody else. Then go find something that you enjoy or something that you're good at, and then just make your own way, because we can still do that in America. But in Bulgaria, it's not that way. And so we just loved having her. And there was a little bit of stress because the little one, she's all but 2.5 foot tall or so. And our little puppy Beagle, this little girl's already scared of dogs, like terrified of dogs. And my little Beagle, she's like my boy. She just can't help it. She just can't help it. So she just goes after this dog, and she's like, ah! And then all I see, because I'm like, oh no, Millie's going to get her. She's just going to lick her for the most part. But she goes, and I'm like, oh no, but Millie, she's so fast, she's so quick, and she's like trying to catch a stick of hot butter, and so I missed her. I didn't get to her in enough time, and she's up, and Millie is as tall as this little girl, and she's going all over on this girl's face. This girl's like, ah! Knocks her over. Millie's on top of her, and I'm like, oh, I'm horrified, So I'm like, and she's still got pretty sharp little teeth and sharp little claws. So I'm like, oh, please don't scratch her face off. Oh, please don't. I hope she doesn't look like someone mauled by a bear, So but I got Millie off pretty quickly. I mean, I was on it pretty well, and she was fine, but I think she had a nightmare that night. But other than that, it was actually an amazing visit, and it was fun. It was really fun to speak with her about her growing up and her walk with the Lord, and how coming to America has really been a great thing for her and her family. And so we're hoping that they can actually get their citizenship. I was happy to hear that, they're contributing, they're doing it the right way. They're paying their taxes, even though they're not citizens, they're paying taxes. But she was talking about how she doesn't have the right to vote still. And she's okay with that. She wants to do it the way the way our country's laid it out. But she did mention that there are some challenges, and it's not an easy thing to become a citizen. Honestly, I'm glad for that, because it shouldn't be easy to live the American lifestyle. You should invest yourself in it, I believe. So, hey, when I put the link up, maybe we can talk about that too, if you want to. If you got some opinions on immigration and what you think about citizenship, or if you just want to, come on and just make a comment about, anything, about that, because I know a lot of people have something to say about that, and a lot of people are very thankful for our country, as I am. Forgive me. Forgive me if I pronounce this wrong. Marakek, right? Marakek from Seattle. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming by. I hope that I don't bore you guys too much. Guth, thank you, man. Let's hear. It says a good story because sometimes I wonder if we aren't becoming a socialistic, a communist society. And I mean, like I said, there's a fight going on right now. And honestly, I think every country, this is just my opinion, but I think every country is bent towards socialism and communism. And I'm not sure why that is, except I think there's a portion of people that see the value in socialism, that everybody can be provided for. And there's a part of my faith that is also socialist as well. I think that's part of God's economy, because God says among his people, there isn't to be any poor. Now, he says among his people, but not every, I don't believe that every person is God's people. The Israelites were a chosen people that are set apart from the world. And we know, I mean, that there's, faith-wise, that there's two sets of people. There's people that are of the world, and there's people that are of God, people that are set apart from the world. So there's a definite line in the Bible between those two groups of people. But he says among you, there must not be any poor. But if someone does become poor, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to meet those needs. Out of our abundance, we're supposed to help them. And that's how socialism is kind of sold. But in that respect, I do agree. However, the U.S. is not necessarily running the way the Israelites ran. I mean, we're not necessarily, we are a country of laws, and we are a country, generally speaking, of a Judeo-Christian background, but we have lost a lot of those laws that God governed over the Israelites, the Old Testament Israelites. Anyways, there's a lot to say about that. So in essence, Joffrey, man, I hope we are not becoming communist, because I do want to retain my right to worship my God in the way that I want to. And I believe that as a society, we ought to, it's a responsibility, a personal responsibility, not the responsibility of the government to mandate it, but we should have a responsibility to our fellow man, either as a ministry, as an outreach, or out of obligation, because if it's a brother or sister, I feel personally, at least, that the Bible teaches that we are obligated to our brothers and sisters, because he says there's not to be any poor among you. But if someone does become poor, we're supposed to meet their needs, of course, within our capability. We don't break ourselves. Anyways, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, I sincerely hope we're not going into pure socialism, or because I'm not necessarily into redistribution as a mandate, as socialism does, and I'm definitely not into communism that could potentially take my right away for freedom of religion. So, yeah, definitely. So, I'm going to transition a little bit, guys. Hey, cold weather gear. Everybody knows, it's no secret, we got the winter here, right? We're getting the snow, the temperatures are dropping, and sometimes for some of us it's going up and down. Like we were in the overnight, I think we had like a teens, and then all of a sudden we're going to be back up into the 60s. So you never know exactly what the weather's going to be like around here. But up in the north, it might be consistently cold. But all of us, generally speaking, unless you're down in Florida or someplace like that, definitely you in Seattle, you're probably pretty cold right now too. You might be looking into some cold weather gear, whether you're working in it or whether you're just going to be hanging around. So I just want to share with you guys what I got. I decided to go wool this year. A lot of people, as do a lot of people, Andrew, yeah, heavy jackets and gloves. yeah, right. I mean, heavy, nice, thick, puffer jackets, things that keep you, those jackets were embarrassing when you were a kid. Remember those? I love them now. They're my favorite jackets. But my company, they give me $450 every single year to buy cold weather gear. And it's kind of a use or lose thing. So I either use it or I lose it. I don't get to like bankroll it or nothing. It's just at the end of the year, it resets. And if you haven't used it, the company gets to keep that money. Well, they get paid by the government just specifically for that. It's not part of it's not supposed to go to whatever the company wants. It's supposed to go to us, the people, and we get $450 a year. But the problem is I've been, excuse me, I just spit right. I'm sorry for spitting on you guys. I didn't mean to do that. Let me get some Wawa. There we go. But the problem is after you've been working for a company for 11 years, as I have, you kind of have all the cold weather gear you need. So you start getting a little crazy. Like let's get the like the best of the best stuff, right? Well, I decided to go with wool this year. I was using synthetic type stuff, like spandex, like Under Armour type stuff, and that stuff was really, really good. It's really expensive. Well, wool is not cheap either. But I bought the stuff off of Amazon. You can find some stuff pretty inexpensive. But I bought this beanie cap, right? It says Bush Edge, Bush Edge. But let me tell you guys, this is very soft. This, you wouldn't think it was wool. It is so soft, and it's a little bit lightweight. So I'm kind of curious to see how warm it's actually gonna be. But it is wool. Okay, Spider Brand is good stuff. I haven't heard of that, so we might have to look that up. And a suggestion for any of you guys out there. But I got this, and it is not what you would think wool would be. But the reason why I wanted to go with wool is because I don't know if you guys know this, but fabrics have frequencies. Everything has a frequency, which is like, it's basically like waves, like energy waves that go off, right? And the human body has a frequency of 100. And I'm not sure what unit it is, but I know it's 100 waves per, I don't know if it's like per second, per minute. I don't know what it is, but it's 100 waves. Just think of it as a rating for now, 100. A dead body has like 30 or something like that. It's like nothing almost, right? And every fabric has a frequency. Cotton has a frequency that's 100 if it's organic. If it's some kind of inorganic cotton, then it goes down to like 70. And the idea on this is that anything that's synthetic, like your nylon, spandex, polyester, that's got a very, very low frequency, similar to a dead person. Cotton is about on par with a living person. Well, there's also other fabrics like linen and wool. Their frequencies are 5,000. So you say, wow, okay, that's impressive, Matt. Why is that important? Well, have you guys ever heard of like the old medical field? Columbia, yes, Columbia is very good, also very expensive, but you can get some pretty good deals on those things. I've seen deals on those. If you keep a lookout, you can get some good stuff. And definitely look at like the discount places like Marshall's. Is it Marshall's? Or is that the craft store? But there's one of those. I think it's Marshall's though. TJ Maxx's, places like that. What's the other one? Anyways, you guys get the gist. But sometimes you can find some really great deals on that type of stuff. Terrace Landscapes, he uses Dakota brand at Mark's Work Warehouse. Now, we don't have one of those. They probably got an online store for anybody that doesn't have one. Just a guess. Everybody's doing online. So why is the frequency important? Well, some of you guys may or may not know this. I didn't necessarily know this, but I'd heard of it. But you know how like your bed sheets, some people call it linen, right? Some people call it linen. But did you know that a lot of bed sheets are not linen? It's not actually another name for bed sheets. It's a type of fabric. And linen bed sheets are really expensive. So a lot of them are made by something else, like cotton or some other thing. But linen used to be used in hospital beds and it also used to be used as wound care. And the reason being is because of the frequency linen had, it had healing properties, okay? Because the frequency was so much higher than the human body, because it was 11 or 100, that frequency had healing properties and it was very intense. So they used to use that stuff. So, and for bed sores, right? They use linen sheets so that they would prevent bed sores, okay? So cotton or linen has a frequency of 5,000, so does wool. Linen is wonderful because it dries quickly and it has cooling properties. Wool is also has drying properties, wicking and quick drying, but it's for cold temperatures. It keeps you warm. So that's why I decided to go with wool this year. So I bought this. I bought a neck gaiter, and this brand is -33 is the brand of that one. It's all on. I bought it all on Amazon. All on Amazon. I bought long johns. I bought 2 sets. Just a shirt and a pair of pants. Same thing. Ultra soft, y'all. Ultra soft. So it is not itchy. I don't think it's going to be itchy. It's super soft skin. Oh, I just want to sleep on it. It's so soft. But all together, I bought 2 sets of those. I bought the beanie cap, I bought the neck gaiter, and I bought a set of alpaca wool socks. All of it cost me about $260, and the most expensive of it was the long johns. Those were about $90 a set. So that was expensive. That was on par with the Under Armour. So I'm really hoping that it's gonna, because the Under Armour stuff was pretty good. It really was, as far as keeping me warm, especially if you're moving. So I'm hoping that the wool does the same thing. The other benefits to wool is that it's anti-odor and antibacterial. So if you're a stinky man, as I am, you might enjoy wool because it's not going to stink as much, is what I hear. So that's enough for my wool, my wool spool. So Goose says he wears Carhartt jackets, Carhartt bibs when it's in the 20s or colder, but otherwise I just a sweatshirt, light coat, or if I get hot, or I get hot too if it's like in the 30. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was wearing at work too. I had I got Carhartt bibs and I got a Carhartt jacket. The company actually provides a Carhartt jacket, but I also have military issue stuff, some Gore-Tex. So that's the Gore-Tex is better for deflecting the wind. So I wear the Gore-Tex jacket, but I wear the Carhartt bibs, and that's when it's really cold. But for us, really cold is like the teens. So that's about as cold as we get here. So yeah, but Carhartt's great stuff, and you can also find that stuff on sale as well if you can find your size at the end of the season at the different dealers, because they're getting rid of it, right? But they've already been bought up of all the common stuff, so you might get lucky, especially if you're like an unusual size, like a double X or triple X, or maybe like the extra small. You'll probably have better luck finding those things. Carhartts can be hard to move in, and for me, when I drive in the fuel trucks, there's not a whole lot of space, and I'm a little guy. I don't know how the big guys do it, but yeah, you're wearing like the snowman suit or whatever, and it's hard to move. So flexibility is a big thing. Yeah, he says I don't need the neck gaiter. The beard will keep me warm. That's what I'm hoping. Which I'm glad you brought the beard up, guys. Hey, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I've been challenged to grow this beard until I get to that 1,000 subscribers. So anything you guys can do to help me out would be great. Give me a like, give me a comment on the video. I know you're here commenting, but if you want to go back and make a comment, tell me how much you enjoyed it or how much you hated it, whatever you want to do, that would be great. That would really help me out. Ranger. He says I'm a woolly booger already. Ranger, are you still in town, buddy? Or are you on your way home? Or are you home? I'm sorry I missed you, man. It's just, I'm really convicted about the Sabbath. I just am. So I'm sorry I missed you, but one of these days we'll catch it up again. I know it, but I know you had a good time with Ben. And I just wish I could have been there, but church, that's why I didn't come in the evening times, because I have church in the evening time, and then until the sun goes down, I don't do anything. So that's that. I mean, I do stuff, but I connect with the Father through His Word and things like that. But other than that, I don't really do anything. So what do you think, guys? Do you think it's time to put a link up? We're already halfway through the show. You want to do that? Okay, so we've talked about a few things. So if you had any thoughts on communism, socialism, cold weather gear, anything you want to talk about, funny story about your kids. Ranger, you weren't here when I talked about that, but I shared a funny story about my boy. And so if you want to share anything, anybody wants to share anything funny, I'd love to hear anything you guys want to talk about. So when you guys come on, tell me what it is that you want, and we'll just talk about that. Okay, so I'm gonna get the old invite button, put that link in there, and feel free to join me. And if nobody joins, then I'm just gonna babble, and it's gonna be no fun, because other than that, I'm just gonna get awkward. And the more awkward I get, well, it's just awkward. That was probably awkward in itself. All right, so there's the link, guys. So anybody wants to come up is cool. It looks like Slurpy Derpy won't be coming on. He might, but we'll save the cornhole bags. But hey, if you guys want to talk about my cornhole bags, we'll talk about my cornhole bags. I'm fine with that too. Oh man, I know. It's always fun over the bends. I bet you guys had a great time with Gidget. Man, we're loving our pup. And she's getting cooler. We're not cleaning up nearly as much pee as we used to be. So, I mean, you know, that she got a big boost in our love, you know, when she started controlling her urine. So, yeah. Whew. I think I'm out of breath, guys. Hey, if you guys want to talk about a job I did today, I finally got done with that 7 yards of mulch. If you guys have been following me on Instagram, I had to put off I was going to do 7 yards of mulch last Sunday, and we got the snow. That's when the snow came in, and I finished it up today. So we could talk about that if you want. Talk about the mulch, man. That mulch I used was amazing. So if you need some mulch recommendations, I got one for you. Give you some experience in that, or how it was to work by myself, lugging mulch. I don't know. A lot of us work by ourselves, so probably no new story. Yeah. So what do you guys think? What's going on with you guys? Let me know. Yep. Boop-a-doo. Yep. Last video, last live, I talked about Hanukkah. You know, Hanukkah's over now. It's 8 days, so it was over Friday. And that was our first time celebrating Hanukkah. And that we didn't actually like all out do Hanukkah, but it was interesting. That probably the biggest thing that I learned about Hanukkah this year, because I'm learning all about all these different things about feasts and things like that. Hanukkah is not a required feast, and I used to think it was like a Jewish Christmas, but it's not that at all. It's completely not that. I told a little bit about the story, but basically, you know, in our Bible, there's a temple, and you know that's where God dwelt. And he and it was taken over. It was taken over by basically enemies of Israel and the Jewish, really, and they started kind of worshiping God there, and so it was desecrated. And so Hanukkah is all about the take back of our temple and the rededication of it. And the dedication process takes 7 days, and that's why Hanukkah is 7 days long, and then there's an 8th day as well. But that's what it's about. It's about rededicating our temple, and the practical experience is about how we dedicate ourselves to God. And so each year you get to think about rededicating your life, and I really like that. I really like that. And of course, it doesn't have anything to do with Jesus' birthday or none of that type of stuff. And it's not a commanded feast, but it's a nice thing, and we're looking forward to doing more next year. So it looks like I got Joffrey in the queue, so I'm gonna bring him on and see what he wants to talk about.
Hey,
Mr. Joffrey, let me see here. What's going on, man?
Not much.
Man, your picture's looking good, man. Nice and clear. Did you upgrade your camera or something?
No, probably just my phone's not so dirty since I'm not mowing as much. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Who knows? Maybe
How you
it's
been,
better
man?
lighting or something. Huh?
That could be.
Who knows? Yeah. I gotta show you my beard here. You know,
It's
it's
gorgeous,
kind of
man.
it's coming in, but man, my used to say about kids saying funny stuff. Like Caleb, my oldest, he's sitting here today when we're at church, and he's like poking at me. He's like, "Look, you got a lot of white hairs in there, Dad," and stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, would you get off of there?" You know. But
Yeah, right.
yeah, it's you know, like I said with you with that neck gaiter, I like it in the winter because it just does feel a lot warmer.
Oh yeah.
I've been outside a lot more this winter so far than usual. We've been taking the kids out for PE pretty much every day, even if it's cold, just to get them out there, get fresh air and stuff. So, yep, I'm glad to have the beard.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. I remember because you know I grew up in Illinois, in Southern Illinois though, and I remember it was always a bummer to be inside for recess or PE. I mean, sometimes you didn't want to be out in the cold, but I remember a lot of days out in the cold. We kind of liked it because there's so much more room. And in the gym, it was a little bit annoying because you were always like, if you were playing basketball, it seemed like people's balls were always going into your game, and you know. So yeah, I remember those days, man, being in school and being outside, and it was cold.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
those neck gaiters
get-
too, like you said, even in the hot. Have you noticed that? Have you ever used the cooling towels in the hot?
Yeah, I have a few times.
Yeah. There's something about the neck that if you can keep it warm, you know,
Sure.
that really helps with your overall body. And then in the summertime, if you can keep something cool on it, then that really helps to keep your body temperature down. So I like those neck
Yeah.
gaiters a lot.
I usually, as long as I'm moving, I usually don't have problems staying warm. Like when I'm out doing snow removal or something like that, if I'm, pushing a snow blower or shoveling or whatever. But I feel like, yeah, when I get hot, it's hard to cool off. It's funny because in the wintertime, I'll have too much stuff on and I'm just drenched in sweat.
Right.
And one time I came home, my wife's like, she's like, man, you got frostbite or something. Your face is like beet red. And I pull off my hat and it's just, my hair's just sopping wet. She's like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, you're just soaked. I'm like, yeah, I'm really hot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't have frostbite, but yep.
Do you
It's
guys
crazy
go
how
through
the, I was just gonna say, it's crazy how the seasons change so quick because it just seemed like it was hot not that long ago.
I know.
And I don't know. The big thing for us around here is more like the moisture in the air, and the wind. We're just so open. Like today was nice. It was in the 40s, low 40s, but the wind was out of the south. I mean, there was a little bit of wind, but like if we have sunshine and not much wind, it's nice. But then there's days when it's like in the 30s and the air just feels damp and cloudy. It feels awful. It's the humidity, though, I think is what it is. There's just so much more moisture.
Yeah.
And we had rain last weekend. So early in the week, it just kind of was damp and it felt really cold. But here towards the later part of the week, it's been nice.
Yeah. I think sometimes, I don't know if the weather that we gets as far north as you get, but I know it runs through my old grounds of St. Louis. But typically it kind of, I don't know if it intensifies or if it gets weaker or whatnot, but typically whatever we get, it's moving up to that northeast, which you're probably looking northwest on my screen.
Yeah.
Northeast.
There you go.
I'd be a horrible weatherman. But
hey, can't say much there. Though we usually aren't very accurate. So
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we have that problem here. Like it could be 70 degrees and feel like it's freezing if there's no sun and the wind is kicked up and just a little bit of moisture in the air. I mean, that right combination. But you're right. It could be like 25 degrees, no wind, and the sun is out, and it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's.
Well, it's crazy how in the summertime I'm like, oh, clouds, come over, please, and I don't want the sun. And then this time of year, it's like, oh man, sun feels so good.
It does.
And so, it's just crazy how it changes so fast. So
yeah, that was funny. I went out to because I told the story about our Bulgarian friend that was staying with us and how the dog was kind of mauling her in the face, and so we started putting the puppy outside, and she pretty well likes outside, but it was interesting because there was still some snow on the ground, not when she was here, but previously, but just making the point she likes to be outside. So, but the snow was melting away, and there was a spot in the grass out there that didn't have any snow, and she was just like laying out there, and the sun was on her. And I went to go get her because I was calling her and she wasn't coming in. And I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go get her. So I went and got her, and she was literally warm. Like there was snow on the ground, but her body was warm. And she was totally happy, just sunbathing with snow on the ground.
Yeah. Well, and that snow, it's like an insulator too, Seems like the years when we have more snow all winter, the grass stays green underneath because the ground temperature doesn't get as bad or as cold. When it's like years like this, it drops a lot more. The ground temperature I'm talking about, just because there's nothing protected, and then the grass turns pretty dormant. But with our cool season grass, it'll stay pretty green if it's covered up in snow. So for sure.
Yeah. Well, we are completely brown around here.
Right.
Yeah, completely brown. We are. I mean, there's nothing. Well, I say there's weeds growing. We still have winter weeds going.
Okay.
So I got a couple little spot treatments I got to do, but I'm not even considering that spraying. So yeah. I went over to one of my neighbor's house that I was spraying, and I'll you know, I just talk with them all the time because we're friends. You know, he's a customer, but he's a friend too. And so I go over there and I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty well done spraying. He goes, what? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, man, I got all kinds of weeds back here. I was like, what? So I went back there, and sure enough, basically anywhere where there wasn't any grass, these winter weeds were really thriving. I was like, oh man, I was like, man, don't worry, I'll come over. I'll get that stuff, no problem. So I'm doing a little bit of that, but I'm not even calling that work.
Yeah. What kind of so what are the weeds you get in the winter? I mean, is it similar stuff around here? Like if we have a mild winter, we'll get stuff like henbit, chickweed, more stuff like that, you know, that grows when it's just more mild, I guess. I don't know if that's kind of similar.
I'm not very good on my not so much. A lot of our chickweed and stuff like that comes out in the summertime.
Okay.
But I'm not very good with my weed identification right now, but I do know that we are getting some thistle, and I don't know if it's like is it plantain or something like that? Not plantain.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like a thin blade and it's round at the top and split down the middle, and it you know, kind of lays down a little bit. I think it's plantain, but I keep on thinking banana when I do that. And believe it or not, dandelions.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because I've seen that even when we
I
have
lost your audio.
Mild. Huh? Am I on or no?
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Nope. There we go. I got your audio back.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I was going to say, like, when we have
and then we have this other thing, and it's like these really round leaves, and I can't remember what it is. I say I can't remember. I haven't found out what it is, but right now I'm spraying pretty much Roundup because everything's dormant. So so it doesn't matter. Yeah,
it's kind of nice then, really. I mean, that you don't have to worry about harming the grass. But no,
I'm pretty grateful for that.
I was going to say, like when we've had mild winters, you'll see dandelions pop in here and there a little bit. So I wondered if you kind of had more stuff like that too. But
yeah, I was surprised by the dandelions. I thought that was more of like the springtime weed, but apparently it's got 2 seasons for dandelions. So
yeah,
they
can be bad for us. They can be just as bad in the fall as they are the spring. I mean, the spring is way worse, but I've seen falls where, you know, we'll have a lot too. But just depends on the weather.
Yeah, Mr. Joffrey, I got Andrew in the queue. I think get him added into it. Would that be all right? Okay.
Yep, sounds good.
Nice to see you, Guth.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad.
Andrew, welcome back.
So what do you guys been up to?
Andrew, what you got for us, man? What do you want to talk about?
It's up to you.
Yeah, I got a funny one, Matt.
But then it's at times it's almost somewhere. It's always dandelion season.
Yeah, it's always as dandelion season somewhere. It's like that. It's 5 o'clock some type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, the dandelion somewhere.
Ranger knows that one all too well.
Yeah.
He's got tons of
Ranger's down there in North Georgia, man. So he's getting the good tours right now, right? Right, Ranger? If you're still here.
I think he said I'm still in town. So I'm guessing that means he's still at Bent's.
Yep, he sure is. Cool. Maybe I don't know if he's watching on the phone or if they're in the near the refrigerator or game watching on the TV. Maybe I don't know.
Hey Ranger, are you in the pool by chance?
In the pool.
Or is it a little cold for that? I didn't know.
That might have been good good today.
Is it heated? His pool?
No.
No, not that I know heated? Of. No? Oh.
Not that I know of. I don't think so. But it keeps water in it all year. But it doesn't really get that cold here to to freeze that amount of water in a pool.
That takes
we only
a
get down. Yeah, it'd have to get really cold, So And especially it's always moving anyway. So
That's the way to go, Rob. Is the hot tub.
oh, the hot tub. He actually probably is. That's a popular place
So
out there.
Guth, where are you in Illinois?
The central part, right near Peoria. I don't know if you're
Nice.
familiar with that. So, yeah, right about 2.5 hours southwest of Chicago, I guess. Basically between Chicago and St. Louis.
Yeah, my parents used to live on the north side of Chicago.
Okay. So yeah, if you're going clear to the north side, I mean, it's some places can be 3 hours from us.
Yeah, it's not 3 hours from Chicago. They maybe less.
No,
than
I
an hour.
mean from where we're at.
Oh,
to
okay.
there. Yeah.
So you're closest to the border.
No, I'm right in the center of the state.
Center. Okay.
Yeah. Basically, if you followed a line from Chicago down to St. Louis, I mean, we'd be straight in line. So
Because
yeah,
shortly before you hit St. Louis, you'll hit Elms Lawn Care and Barnes Lawn Care as well, because they're right near the Illinois border,
okay.
down near St. Louis.
Andrew, do you have a map on your wall, and you're like pinpointing these people?
No, they told me. I just saw Effecto the
I
other
know
night.
you putting a pin on.
I just
Man,
saw
you got a heck of
Effecto
a
the other
memory,
night
is all.
I just saw Effecto the other night on live. You've met him.
I know. You know what? I'm probably what do you call that? Like deflecting some of myself on you, because if it were me, man, because I got to hear things over and over again. So in order for me to remember some of this, like I remember a lot of things about you guys, because you guys, I mean, almost everybody on here is a pretty regular person, you know, so you guys are easy. But if I get someone that hasn't been on in a while, I'll have to be like, oh, where were you from? Or so it's like, if for me to remember that type of stuff, I'd have to put a little pin. I'd have to do exactly that. Put a little pin. Oh, this person's here. This person's there with a little tag.
There's one person you can't forget where he is. Rob's Odd Jobs or Waymaker Lawn
That's
Care.
right. That's right. if I was still in running shape, I could run to his house probably.
I bet you could still run to his house.
You know, believe it or not, I've never been over to his property yet. Never been over there yet. So maybe one day. Every time we've gotten together, it's either been at my house or we got the families together and went and got some Mexican one time, and or over at Ben's house, places like that. Of course, me and Rob work together during the summer, so you know, see him then. But I've never been out to his property yet. So maybe one day, Rob.
Waymaker, what's taking you so long?
He'd probably tell you flat tires. He's always fixing flat tires.
Flat tires, that means it's time for a new tire.
Yeah.
I've learned the hard way that you can only fix a tire so many times.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes
So, Andrew, how's your week been, man? What you been doing?
Pretty good. Not much because of all this going on. So
yeah. Just hanging out, getting on people's live streams.
Yeah. I've been talking with friends in New York, and they say there's a ton of snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could have drove out there with a truck and a blade and found plenty of work, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Made a killing.
Oh, I know.
For a while.
Well,
stay around for a week or two.
They said the guy kept saying, we're going to get 9 inches. We're going to get 12 inches, 18, 24, and finally they end up with 36.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Man.
Well, didn't some places have even more than that?
Dewey down
the
there,
most was like
Binghamton,
44 or something?
Yeah, Binghamton got like 42 or 44 inches.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Man.
I'm sure the Adirondacks got nailed. Just north, about an hour north of Albany, in the mountains.
Yeah. I suppose in the mountains you could get snow at any time.
Definitely. If you go an hour
or at
east,
least the
you end up-
runoff.
if you go an hour east, you end up with another set of mountains.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, when my first duty station in the Air Force was North Dakota, and I was there for 3.5 years, and I can't remember which year it was, but we got snow on June 1st once.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't anything that was like significant that stuck around, you know, but up in North Dakota, I mean, you know, you get drifts that are, you know, 12 foot tall, you know, it drifts. And, you know, you might get like 3 or 4 foot of snow, you know, 5 foot of snow, maybe, I don't know, maybe not quite 5 foot, but, you know, at least waist length of actual snow. But yeah, June 1st, and I couldn't believe that. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Well, if you go to Oswego, New York, just off the lake, you can see pictures that are of snow drifts as high as the bottom of the top of your roof.
Yeah. Yeah. Where you
They're
can't get out the front door,
huge.
you got to go out the second story window. Yeah. Wait. Now, Joffrey, because you guys are pretty used to. Well, you guys are both probably pretty used to snow. But when you guys get a lot of snow, either one of you, do you guys like to get out there and play around in it, do some crazy things like sledding or like snow football, anything like that?
I go out there with the kids, I guess. I just get the sled out and pull them around. They like
Yeah.
to make, you know, snowmen and just forts and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's fun. You got to kind of get out there and do something, I think. That's
Mhm.
I love the snow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I always
I like
have
it
it.
too.
Anymore, I feel like the last 3, 4, 5 years, you got to get out and play in it right away because it seems like it's gone a couple days later.
Right.
We have too
Yeah.
much, you know, warmer weather. I guess it doesn't stick around like it used to when I was a kid. But that's okay. I enjoy it, but I like to see it disappear too. I don't mind
Yeah.
winter, but in a way, I kind of don't like it as much as I used to. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of the opposite a little bit. Like I think now that I'm getting a little bit older, I used to really enjoy the heat in the summer, and I do enjoy it now because that's money making season. But oh my gosh, I think I like the winters more now than I do the summers if I had to choose. Yeah.
yeah,
But
I
that
could
might be
see
because
that.
I'm in Oklahoma now.
Yeah, I could see that as hot as it gets. I think I would too. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, your summers are
But
brutal.
your heat is low compared to his heat.
Oh yeah,
Andrew, I love that when you do that, man. I can't help but think of the Brady Bunch. You're
Oh,
like,
was it Marcia?
yeah.
Rob, I don't know. Guth?
Rob thought that you were
Care to
going to tell a
answer?
story, Joffrey. I might have missed something, but
I don't know. I guess I had just a little story that I thought of. So last week I wasn't able to view you guys at all. I think I told you that maybe that I wouldn't be able to check in. We were out in Cincinnati. My oldest son Caleb, he goes to Cincinnati Children's Hospital. Because when he was born, his stomach was herniated up in his chest, and he had some operations done. So he goes back there to get just some checkups and stuff. But anyway, long story short, we went to the aquarium while we're there, and I pull in the parking deck, and there's these big, concrete pillars, and I park next to one. And my wife goes, "Why are you parking next to this?" She's like, "It's not a good place to park." And I'm like, "It's fine. It's best to park next to one of these because then you don't have to worry about, someone dinging your doors on the other side of your car."
yes, that's
Well,
right. Except for you.
anyway, I ate those words because then when I went to back out for whatever dumb reason, I looked over my right shoulder and backed out and nailed the concrete pillar and put a big dent in the van. So she was like, "You better never say anything again, like when I make a little scratch." So yeah, that was kind of the story. Luckily not luckily, I was able to pop a little of the dent out, but unfortunately the column was square, so it kind of crumpled it up in one spot. I think if it was round, it would have popped it out pretty easy. But man, I
Yeah.
realized like these vehicles, like the metal on there on the van, it was just so flimsy. I mean, I wasn't even moving
Yeah.
like hardly about like 2 mile an hour, but
Yeah.
yeah, crazy.
Well, they
So
really don't make them like they used to.
anyway, learn from my mistake. Look before you back up, obviously, but
Mhm.
I guess when the
What
wife tells you, don't park there, don't park there.
what brand of car is it? If you don't mind.
It's a Chrysler Pacifica.
Oh, okay.
It's
an
probably
older car.
got about
It's an older car.
older.
Yeah.
Only about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you don't
But,
see a whole lot of those on the road. And when they first came out with those, they it seems like they may have sold a lot more of them. And then did they discontinue them at all? And then they brought them back?
I don't know. Well, they
I
discontinued the Town and Country,
think-
and then I think that's when they
Yes.
The
started
Town and
making
Country?
the Pacifica. We had heard good
Okay.
things about it, so we went with it. But I feel like it's not. It just seems so much lighter than we had a Honda before, a Honda Odyssey. It was a nice car. Just felt a lot heavier. But I mean, they keep making everything lighter and lighter. It's probably got
Yeah.
a gazillion airbags in it now, but you know, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm sold on it. So
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the
We're
last-
fixing to get the wife a car. And we're kind of teetering because we have that camper and we want to go on a longer trip. And I've upgraded my truck, my little Tacoma, to pull it. But and it can handle
You're-
fairly flat ground pretty well.
You're gonna want more than a Tacoma. You're gonna want a Silverado.
Well, what we're looking at is and I know everybody has their favorites, but I think once we get the camper paid off here in about 4 months, I think we're going up to the Ford dealer, and we're not going to buy brand new. We can't afford brand new, but I think we're going to pick up an F-250. So that way it kind
Yeah.
of solves our long-term goals too.
You're gonna
So,
want
and I would go with Chevy Silverado to some degree, except I've heard that they've had some transmission issues, and that's been validated with I got a mechanic buddies in fleet maintenance, which fleet maintenance is a whole different world. But he's like, yeah, Chevy transmissions they can have some issues. So I think we're going to go with the Ford F-250. Not really concerned about Dodge at all. And the foreign trucks just don't have a heavy duty truck available.
But
They have.
you want in that realm of the Silverado and the F-250, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
That's the size you
So,
want.
Yeah,
that's
you'll
what
be
we're
glad.
going for.
Because you want plenty of power to pull up those hills.
Exactly. Like I want to be able to go and like out in Tennessee, out in the Smokies or something, or maybe like out in Colorado and not really have any issues, So
Have you driven the Smokies?
Now I used to live in Knoxville, Tennessee, but I only went to the Smokies like once and I wasn't driving. So I know what it looks like, but I've never driven it.
Some of the hills are pretty steep.
I know.
Yeah, we were there.
I know.
We were there last summer. My brother lives in Knoxville, and I'm just used to like living in the heartland in Illinois where the roads are flat and straight, and you can not
Yeah.
really pay attention to what you're doing. There, you got to watch the edge of the road because I'm afraid you're
Yes.
gonna like go over.
Yes.
And we have
Yes.
guardrails where there's like nothing, but there it's just like okay, you can't get off the side of the road. So,
But
I
in
know.
some areas, you should stop and take a picture because it's such a pretty landscape.
Oh yeah, if you catch a break, break in the trees, because that's not something we have a lot of here, and that's what I loved about it. It's just trees and just different elevations, and it was gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now Terrace, he says a Chevy Traverse is I'm guessing what he drives, and those are pretty nice vehicles. Those Traverses are lots of room
Yeah.
inside.
That's a large SUV, I do believe.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're in between, in between like their Equinox and the Tahoe.
Yeah, it's a decent sized car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good size, and they got like the third row seating, so Yeah. Yeah, I like
I
the
don't-
Traverses a lot.
I don't know what pulling power it's got, but the Honda Passport is a little smaller than the Pilot, but
Mhm.
I don't know what pulling power it's got.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the funny thing, because we're going into it, because I told my wife, I said, well, this is what we can do. We can either spend a little less and just buy an F-250 for you, which I assume probably what would happen is she'd probably just start driving my truck, and then I would drive the 250, because she kind of had a hitting things while backing up problem too. but you know, who knows, if she wants the F-250, I'd be proud to have my wife drive an F-250. But the other option is we could trade my truck in, and the last time they said they'd give me about $9,000 for my truck, and then we'd end up buying two cars. We'd buy an F-250 and then whatever she wanted, but that's the more expensive route.
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea to
Yeah.
see what go to multiple dealers, see what others say.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's one dealer I want to give a shot to, because I almost bought a pickup from him not too long ago. I got online and you know how they have that little button that says value your trade if you go online.
Yeah.
And it's just a hook, right, to get your information so they call you. Well, I was like, whatever. I mean, I'm willing to go through that. And who knows, if they got a big deal, maybe I will take it. Who knows? So I was like, I'll do it just to see. And I got a call from them, and I'll kind of make the story short. But in the end, I almost bought a Ram 1500. It was a 2015, but it had 170,000 miles on it.
Oh.
But they were going to give me $9,000 for my truck, which my truck's paid off. So that whole $9,000 would have gone towards it, and $12,000 for that pickup. So in essence, I would have paid $3,000 for a 2015 Dodge Ram. I almost did it, but I passed it up.
115,000 for a 5-year-old truck.
170,000.
170,000 5-year-old truck. That means somebody was going cross country.
Yeah, that was a lot of miles.
Yeah, I would
That was a lot of
assume
miles.
highway miles at least. I mean, that's better than
I
like.
hope it's highway miles.
Yeah.
It looked like a clean truck. You know, it really looked like it was clean. So I'm guessing it was probably somebody that just traveled for a living or something like that. I don't know, but I was like, well, I mean, you don't find $12,000 truck that often.
If
you know, and then much less a 2015.
If you do go used, do not buy a former flooded car. Do not.
Yeah. Oh well, no. Yeah, definitely not. But we'll have to go used, because I can't afford those new truck price tags, man. Those things are so expensive, especially the Super
dealer.
Duty.
Look at the new ones, and then see if that's what you want.
Well, I'll tell you this: it is what I want. But it's not what I can afford.
I know, but it's easier to see the new ones up close and personal than it is to see some of the used ones.
You should sell cars. I'm telling you.
Oh, you know where you can look for a used car is CarMax.
Yes, I actually like CarMax. I like them a lot. But the thing about them is I don't think you get the best deals out there, but I think you do get a fair deal with them.
My neighbor bought 3 cars from them, so they must not be too bad.
No. I don't think they're too bad at all. No. I don't think they're too bad at all. But you know how every once in a while you come across that like, wow, that's a diamond in the rough. I think CarMax is always going to charge a fair price. I don't think they're trying to rip anybody off, but it's always a fair price, you know. And so anybody that bought a car, and I bought a car from CarMax, I sold them a car too. And that's how I found that out, is because I sold them a car. And what happened was they went and they valued it. I came away a little bit upset. You know, I was like, oh man, my car's worth more than that. Well, I went and actually did the research on my own car, and I knew what was wrong with it, which it wasn't much, but I knew what had to be done. And I'll be darned, man, if I didn't come up with a number that was like $100 away. So I ended up selling the car. And then I went back to him to buy a car for my wife. and I looked at the price and I did my research, and I'll be like, I'll be darned, man, if they aren't on the nose, man. I mean, they've got it down, and I think they give a fair deal for sure. But I don't think they're selling a car like for thousands below book. But they're going to be right there close to book, which I think that's all anybody can really ask when they're buying a car, really.
I think people just want a hair below book value because they don't want to pay full.
Oh
They
yeah,
don't want.
yeah.
They make you feel like I don't want to pay full sticker.
No, nobody wants to pay that.
It's that psyche thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Is
I'll
there?
tell you,
Mr. Rob, we lost Mr. Rob.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll tell you how I
We
found
lost
my-
Mr. Rob.
Oh, all right.
Night, Rob.
Take care. No, I was going to tell you how I found my truck. You're looking for an F-250. When I found my Silverado, I actually bought it off a Ford dealer. They hate having, a different brand on their lot, it seems
Oh.
like. And so
That's a good idea.
I saw they had that Silverado there, so I went and looked at it, and they wanted to get rid of it pretty fast. But anyway, I told him I had a lawn business, and he's like, well, take it. We got nobody looking at it. Take it home, hook up to your trailer, take it out and use it, which then at that point they had me hooked kind of, but he let me
Of
keep it
course.
overnight. And I, took it then the next day, went and mowed a few yards, and then went back the next evening. And yeah, at that point I was like, oh, this is nice. I want to buy it. So
Okay. Oh, that's a great idea. I never even thought about that, but going to the competitor's used car lot, oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah.
but
That
yeah,
might
they
get there.
I don't know why, but those dealers do. They usually do not want a different make on their lot.
That makes sense.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
Because on the Honda lots, I've seen a Honda, Chrysler, Ford, and Dodge on that lot. So
Yeah,
you'd be surprised at what other cars are on the lot.
oh yeah, they're definitely there, but they're usually. It seems like they're eager to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, for branding purposes, why do you, why would you want to get the
Well, and I think part of like where I bought it at, it's a Ford dealer, and then right next door to it's a Chevy dealer. And so, they
Of
got
course.
that Chevy sitting on their lot. They don't want it there because that's their competition right next door.
Mhm.
So
Why didn't they just sell it to the guy?
sell it to
next door?
Chevy?
exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
Here,
I
I'll give
mean,
you a great price on your own product. Here you go.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're what, feet apart?
Yeah. Yeah. They're literally right next to each other. They park their Chevy and their Ford literally like 2 feet apart from each other, no joke. So.
Yeah. Guys, I think it's about time.
Yeah, I better get going too.
Yeah. I really appreciate you guys coming on as always. So it's good to see you again, Joffrey.
Good to
Same
see
with
you.
you, Andrew.
You too.
Always
Nice
good to have
beer.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm kind of looking forward to shaving it now. I kind of
Looking
am.
forward.
Yeah. So got to get to that 1,000 somehow.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Let's see. Can we get a Santa? Can we
That's
get a
gonna be
Santa
part of the
beard out of
fun.
this guy? What do you think, Guth?
That's gonna be part of the fun when I get to
I-
1,000 because then
I think he
can
just-
shave it on video.
I think he needs to turn into like a politician and buy some subscribers or something,
Ooh.
He'll get there
I
quicker.
could do that.
No, I'm
There's an
I
idea.
could do that. I could do
Alright,
some
hey.
mail-in
That's
subscribers.
not a bad
there you go. Yeah, mail-in ones. Yeah. Probably got a box of them somewhere in the basement.
You think YouTube would take that? I just like
I
do a
don't
video
know.
like, look, here's
I
another
don't
one.
know.
Here's another one.
That could be on the shelf behind you.
All right. Well, that's a good note to end off on, guys. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for coming on. Lord bless you guys.
Hey, have a great Christmas, you guys.
You
You
too.
too.
Merry Christmas.
All right, we'll see ya.
All righty, guys. So for whoever's left that's watching this live stream, I really appreciate you again dropping in as always. Please help me out because I can't lie. The beard it's kind of, my coworker's already dropped out on me. So he said, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I think he thought I was going to get there more. And I can't lie, I'm kind of at a snail's pace. And that's in parts because I'm doing the lives, because lives don't usually cater to getting more subscribers. It's more focused on the people you already have. So I really need to start kicking out some other videos if I'm going to get the subscriber count going. But I really appreciate anything you guys could do to help me out. And I just love you guys coming on. Thank you so much for dropping by yet another week. So I'll just sign off again with you guys. Pray for me, guys. You know I'm praying for you. We'll see you guys next week. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.